Man, oh man. Excuse me. Hope everybody doing good. We're gonna wait a little bit. Get some people come in here. Hope everybody doing good. You know, get you something to eat, get you a drink, get you a snack, get comfortable. Cause we here with it. Y'all could be doing anything else, but y'all here. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, what's good, y'all? How y'all feeling? Not sure that would work. Yeah, we're gonna wait a little bit till some more people come in. But if you're in the chat, you know, say hey, say what's up, whatever you're comfortable saying before we kick this thing up. Can't make sure my volume's turned down. Yeah, what's up, y'all? All right. What's good, Smooth family? It's your boy Be Smooth. If you can't be smooth, then you gotta move. And this is Smooth Talk. So today we're gonna be talking about, you know, sickle cell. I'll turn it down a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about sickle cell. It's so much we can talk about. Y'all can ask me questions. You know, if you have any questions about it or whatever. But to explain to some people what sickle cell is, so there's different types of sickle cell. You know, you have SC, SS. The list goes on. It's a long list. I have SC, and pretty much what that is basically with sickle cell. Everybody has like normal blood cells, right? And people with sickle cell, we have like a, you know, crescent shaped cell or like a banana shape. If any kids watching, and technically those are sticky. Whenever we don't get enough oxygen in our blood, they clog up, and it causes us to have pain. Usually, it's in the lower back or you know, it's in the legs. If it gets in your chest, that can be dangerous, and you definitely need to go to the hospital for that. It also can affect your eyes. God forbid anybody has to go through that. But that's why it's good for everybody to get their eyes checked, just in general. Just because it is a possibility that you could go blind from it. But so far, I have not heard or seen anybody go through that, and I pray nobody has to. But yeah, when it comes to sickle cell, one of the main keys is drinking a lot of water and rest. Also dressing appropriately according to like the weather, things of that nature. And when it comes to sickle cell, it can trigger at any moment. So that's really something that we can't like prevent. Even when you're on the right track, you're doing everything you can, it can still, you know, trigger. Um, the majority of people, our triggers are the same or it's different. So, you know, changing the weather can do it. Stress can cause it. Any type of trauma to a certain area or just in general um, can trigger it. Not drinking enough water. Excuse me. You know, overdoing like certain activities or whatever. You know, you're working out, you overdo it. That can trigger it. And like for me, which is weird. So whenever I drink any type of beverage or whatever, for some reason I can't have ice in it. And I recently just discovered that, you know, for myself. So whenever I do drink any type of anything with ice in it, I sometimes may or may not have pain. Every now and then, it may not affect me, but yeah. And when it comes to sickle cell, in order for a person to have it, both the parents need to have like the trait, or one has sickle cell itself. What's up, Sasha? So like my dad and my mom, they didn't know at the time, but they both have the trait. They still have pain just like we do. It's just not as bad as we do. So I'm gonna let you.
I'm here. What's up, y'all? I'm here listening, trying to check everything else out. And like I say, he's gonna be talking about a little bit. We say we're gonna talk about sickle cell a little bit more. And today, as everybody's come in, welcome. Uh, you got to do your intro.
I did it.
Oh, okay. Busy doing
You
this.
too.
Oh, but we're gonna talk a little bit more about sickle cell, and hopefully in the future, sometime soon, that more will join in and join us today, or not only just today, but at any other time. Because one thing about it, it is serious, and I have it when we put it say it's serious. It's serious, but you can live with this and not die. Let me just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
If you take care of yourself, you got to take care of yourself, and you got to be aware of what's going on. But one of the things that I wanted him to share with everyone today was the mental part about it. How does he deal with that mentally
Mm.
at the age of 26? We know a lot of young people, they don't really deal with it. They just go with the flow, and
Mm.
they in certain mindsets they're like, whatever happens, happens.
Mm.
But it is a mental part to that.
Mm. When it comes to the sickle cell, a lot of people feel like it's just a physical battle. It's not, bro. It's a physical, mental, emotional, and it can be a spiritual battle. For me personally, though, mentally, it can be draining. I ain't gonna, lie to you. It is very draining. It can be like stressful and aggravating. Now, there's some good things about it, some bad things about it, depending on how your outlook on life and your outlook on whatever you're going through. But with me, I always try to find, the positive. Now, mind you, I am human, so I go through stuff just like everybody else do. But um, it is stressful, and the only reason I say that, and a lot of people can, that have sickle cell can relate to me on this, because you have that mental battle of like, say if you are going through a crisis or whatever, you're battling yourself like, okay, should I go to the hospital or should I just stay at home and try to fight it out? And then if you do go to the hospital, you're in your head like, okay, I may run into, some doctors and nurses that's not willing to listen to me, or I may not. Or, if you do get admitted, it's still the same thought of like, will I run into a doctor that is gonna listen and do, what it says in my care plan, or are they gonna try to do their own thing? And then you worried about how long you're gonna be in the waiting room, because for some of us, we be in there for hours, even though we're not supposed to be in there for that long. But yeah, you sitting there, and it is stressful. It is aggravating, and then especially if you go by yourself, you have to advocate for yourself. So that alone is just stressful as it is. But hey, what's up? Like I said, it is some positive outlooks on it, because one of them is me coming up with this, honestly, and like the ideas I come up with and things of that nature. And also, I got to meet, more beautiful sickle cell warriors just like myself. And, we talk amongst each other. We discuss, things we're going through, and just our experiences. And, we check on each other, see how everybody's mental state doing. She said, "Thank you, Pug. Thank you for sharing your personal story with us. Love you. And I love y'all too. And of course, I do this for y'all, but also to educate people on what it is But yeah, it can be stressful because even for people that deal with sickle cell, you still can be like exhausted. You know, you can get like a full 8 hours or more than that. Like I said in the video before when I posted, you can sleep longer than that and you'll wake up and you're still tired. And then, for some people, excuse me, that have to work, that's exhausting too because you got to deal with, I mean, everybody got to deal with that, but you got to deal with people at your job. And then if you don't get disability or whatever, you have to get up, go to work, and you may be in pain or you may not. Who knows? And you have people that have, hurt every day, every other day, or not at all. I experienced not having pain for like the longest I went. Well, I ain't gonna say not having pain, but not able to be in the hospital was like 9 years before. That's the longest I ever went. I know I can get back on that, on track with that. But so far I'm on the right track right now. I ain't been in there for a good little minute. But it can be annoying, it can be stressful, especially, you have people that either don't believe you or, they try to call you a drug seeker, things of that nature. Then you got people that, they actually got your back and look out for you. Those are the people I tend to keep around and stick around because they just want to make sure I'm good at the end of the day. Casey, I try to understand as much as I can by doing the research, listening to you, and also hanging out with you. Yeah, that's the only thing you really can do is, do the research and, ask questions or, if they feel comfortable enough and just open up to you. And another part where it can be like difficult is, trying to hang out with your friends, your family, your significant other, whatever. Um, it'll come to a point to where, sometimes it'll bother you as well. Well, it'll bother us because it's like if it triggers, then we have to cancel what we're doing. And for some of us, we may look at it like we feel like a burden. It's hard for a lot of us to get out that mindset just because you've been dealing with it for years. And depending on your experience and who you've been around, some people either made you feel that way or they didn't. Even if they didn't, you still have that in your mind because you feel like you're stopping other people from having fun or whatever it is, that's going on. And that's a rough, mindset to get out of, but it does take time. Once you got that mindset, and like I said, you got people that care about you and love you, then you won't feel that way no more. It is gonna take time. I ain't gonna sit here and act like, you know, it just happened like that. Nah, that's not how that works. But I'm glad that I have, my dad, my mom, my friends, my family, that support me every step of the way because, also I thank God and also myself. Because, yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him, for me putting in the effort, but also for my family, my friends, looking out for me. But you never know what a person is really going through for real.
And I'm just sitting back. I'm just letting him explain just some of the stuff that he deal with. I mean that he's mentally dealing with, or maybe going through. I'm gonna say something in a few minutes, but I just want y'all to hear it from him first.
Mhm. And it can be very discouraging, especially like for me, excuse me, growing up, it was difficult, especially as a kid, just because when we really didn't know much about it, I always thought I was like the only one in the world. Because you got to keep in mind, I was a kid, so I'm not knowing that there was other people out there like me. So it was difficult because I'm like, all right, I'm the only one dealing with this. Anybody else, dealing with this? So what do I do? I'm pretty much lost. And then as I got older, it was becoming more known, and I felt, not felt, but I found, more people like me. Then I became more comfortable with it. And even in school, I had people, you know, my classmates, the principals, the teachers. They were very supportive. They looked out as well, so that really helped too. And like I said, everybody's experience is different, so I can't speak on everybody. I can only speak for myself and what I experienced. But yeah, it's especially it's difficult even when it comes to like a relationship standpoint because you got some people that's willing to learn and stick around and understand, and you got some that just don't. And they'll probably hit you with, oh, it doesn't bother me, this, that, and third. Now, I ain't saying there's not people like that don't understand because it is. But what I experienced, um, yeah, I've had some that actually did, understood or whatever. We just went separate ways, or the ones that didn't understand at all and they just left. So it is what it is when it comes to that. But yeah, and then as far as I know, I'm the only one in my family that deals with it. So that can be difficult on somebody, mental state. For me, I wouldn't say like it bothered me because I wouldn't wish what I have on nobody else, nor would I want anybody else to go through the same thing I go through. So, like I said, I look at the positive part of it growing up because I was like, I'm able to take this pain, even though it hurts really bad. But I wouldn't want, my dad, my mom, or my friends, or anybody like that to go through it, what I'm going through just because they might not be able to handle it the way I do, if that makes sense. Well, what do you got to say?
And everyone that's tuning in, welcome everyone into I see my friend James just popped in, Claude and Shirley Diggs, Teresa Rivers, Rhonda, and Larry, Lars, Laura. Thank you all. Kitty already here. Thank you all for tuning in. Janet Jackson. Yeah, we got Janet Jackson on it. I'm just playing with y'all. My classmate, just welcome everyone that's coming in. Sasha, everyone that's coming. Niecy Hamilton, thank you all for tuning in. And if you know anyone that may have sickle cell or dealing with sickle cell or somebody that has the trait that you may know, share this with them. Reach out to them and share this with them. Tell them jump on, tune in, listen, and share their comments and questions that you may have. As a parent, just watching them deal with that, it puts you at a humbling state within itself. Hey, what's up, James? And a good friend right there. And it puts you in a humbling state to where you pay attention to a lot of stuff that you normally wouldn't. Kids play as a kid, but when he's dealing with this, you have to be very watchful and make sure he's okay. He's playing, he's a child. He don't know if he's really tired and need to drink water. As a kid, that's what we do as a kid. But we have to be very mindful of what's going on in the surroundings. Very mindful if somebody's sick because their immune system is not like ours.
Yeah, like a cold to y'all could be pneumonia for us.
Yeah,
which is very dangerous. And yeah, like I said, even as a kid or whatever, like like you said, you don't know if you're like really tired or if you need to drink water, other than your normal, you being exhausted or whatever, out of breath. Cool. But outside of that, it's like what's going on the inside. As a kid, you're not knowing, oh, I need to rest, I need to drink some water, I need to do this, I need to do that. And it was very discouraging, once I reached a certain age and, going to the hospital, going to like a doctor's office, and they're telling you might not make it past 20 or 21. That was very discouraging to hear. And then, once I made it past that milestone, then it was, you might not pass 25 or whatever and all this stuff. It's like the number kept getting higher. And I'm like, I'm here, I'm 26. So my life is not in your hands. So, I mean, as a kid, that's discouraging. It can scare you. But then over time, I was just like, I got accustomed to it, even though it is annoying to hear that because, like, I get you're trying to be realistic or whatever you want to call it, but at the same time, don't tell a child that, bro. Like, don't do that.
You don't even want to hear as a grown up.
Yeah, you don't even want to hear that as a grown up.
I would say, do you know what the odds are that you could pass it on to your children when, if you have any?
So as far as like the percentage, I have to get the numbers down pat. The only way I could really, explain that is basically so me having sickle cell, right? And my significant other, I would have to make sure, she gets tested. Obviously, that'd be a conversation, that she gets tested to see if she may have sickle cell or the trait or anything like that. Because if she does, then that's the discussion we will have to have, you know, because if she does, that's the only way that child can end up having sickle cell for real. Now if she doesn't, that child may or may not have the trait. So it really just depends on that. But that's why you need to, you and your significant other need to have a conversation about that. Go get tested to see if you have a trait or see if you have sickle cell because there's people that don't even know that they have sickle cell or the trait. You know, and there's people that's that same age as me, older than me, younger than me, whatever. And yeah, there's people like that though that aren't aware that they have it. But yeah, that's really the only way I can think of, honestly.
From what the doctors shared with me one time was that, and welcome Angela, um, was that the only way he could pass it on if he got in the door that had it, that he could pass it on is that they both, since he got sickle cell, she had to have the trait or she have sickle cell too.
Mm.
That's the only that's the only way that they can be passed on, unless they don't did some new research and found out differently. But that's the only way, because it's a very strong chance that he can have a child as long as the mother don't have sickle cell or the trait, the child will be normal.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the only chance when it comes to that, honestly. Um, she said I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, I have two coworkers that battle with sickle cell. They're constantly in and out of the hospital due to the pain crisis. Yeah, and you got some of us that either try to work and they got to lose their job, and you got some where they they understand they work with you and things of that nature. If you got it like that, hey, you blessed. To be honest with you, but everybody's different. Everybody's experiences is different. Um, but yeah, you just gotta make sure you take care of yourself, drink your water and all that. Now everybody's different. I'm not knocking anybody that either drink or smoke. You have your reasons as long as you do it responsibly. But that also can kind of take a toll on your body. Now, if you do smoke, for a pain aspect, I get how that can be beneficial towards that. Because there is some sickle cell warriors that I know that do that, and it helps them. It doesn't make it worse for them. Um, so you just have to do your research on it, and you just have to be careful and talk to your hematologist and things of that nature. So you know what's going on. You have to make sure what you put in your body. To be honest with you, but yeah, when it comes to that though, it's a lot behind it. And when you ask about the chances of your kid, having it, I had to think about that long and hard, as I grew older, because if I decide to have kids, I made it a promise to myself that I would not want my child to go through that. Even though I could, I got the blueprints on what to do, this and third. It's just a simple fact of like, why would I put a child through that? The same thing I'm going through, if not worse. And that'll be, I'll feel bad on my end because it's like, I could have prevented that. But me not, thinking and doing some dumb stuff, now I have a child that's going through it. Like, nah, I wouldn't want that for a child to do that. Like, it's bad enough for me to go through it, but that'll hurt my heart to see a child going through it. I already see kids that go through it now. So you can just imagine if it's your own. So that can be nerve wracking, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it can be painful at the same time too, because like you said, you don't want to see your kids really dealing with that. Even like me, even when he was going through this, I didn't want to see him dealing with that. And at one point, I even said, "Lord, give it to me," because I felt like I can handle it way better than he could. And just to see him go through that at times, it was like, when is the pain gonna stop without the death?
Mhm. Yeah.
See, a lot of people think, well, the pain will stop when you leave here, when you die. No, not necessarily. It, no, they working hard now trying to find cures, and I think what some little boy and everybody that sent information to us about the little boy, the young man that was
Yeah.
cured from this, we appreciate it. You know, we appreciate it. They doing their very best to find a cure for this,
Mhm.
even though it is a risk at hand with it. They may tell you it's not, but yes, it is. That's in everything.
It's a risk behind
It's a
that.
risk behind everything. So, but just to watch him at times and being in the hospital days and then maybe a week or two, that's rough. Then I'm at work. I may be at work and I'm functional at work, but my mind would be at the hospital, especially when he was younger.
Yeah.
My mind would be there at the hospital. Now, he go now. It's still the same thing. I may be functional at work, but my mind is at the hospital.
Mhm. And even when I was, able to work and all that. Now, me, I'm a little stubborn. So, uh, so when I was working, I had a crisis 2 times. The first time I worked the whole shift. Shouldn't have done it, but me being stubborn and all that, me being, the fighter in me was just like, you got it, bro. Go ahead and knock this out real quick. Even though I shouldn't have done that, it was dangerous on my end, and I know not to do that no more. But yeah, the first time worked the whole shift, went to the hospital. Obviously, I ended up staying, and that was when I had a crisis really bad, and it's been a while since I had one. So then the second time it happened, um, went to the hospital, got out, informed them on what was going on, and then not even a full, like literally a day after I got out, pretty much was like, "Oh, when are you coming back? This and that third, or are you coming back?" I'm like, "Bro, I just got out. I just got out." Keep in mind, I was like 18, 19 around this time. But, I'm like, I just got out of the hospital. So then it was like, dang, y'all don't even care for real. Now, there is some workplaces that actually do care. You just have to, once you find it, you find it one. But, yeah, it can be stressful though, especially, if you live by yourself and obviously bills gotta get paid and all that other stuff. So you still have to find the strength and get up and go to work and still do your day-to-day life, whatever it is you need to do, even if you're in pain. And it can be to a point to where you take your medication, you might be fine, or you may be fine, or you might not be. It just depends on how bad it is, honestly. And like for me, for some reason, like yeah, throughout the day it can happen, but for me, it's like it happens in the middle of the night. Now, I know it's a lot of sickle cell warriors that go through the same thing, but yeah, for me, it's always like I end up having pain like in the middle of the night, and it'd be either like when I'm asleep, and it just wake me up out my sleep, and I hate that feeling because I don't like when I can't go to sleep. I hate that feeling so much. But yeah, like I said, even growing up, though, it was difficult, but I had a great support system. I had people that have my back all the way, still have my back to this day, and you know, hearing you won't make it past 20. And I'm just like, oh, dang, bro. And then when I made it past, that milestone, I'm just like, I'm looking at them like, so what was that about? And then it's the whole energy shift is just like, well, they did this. Nah, I ain't hearing none of that. I don't want to hear that. And I know a lot of people, y'all. I know a lot of y'all mean well when y'all say this, but I'm gonna just be honest with you. A lot of suicide warriors do not like to hear this, but a lot of y'all will say, oh, I know somebody with suicide that passed away, and I'm gonna be real with you. We know that you mean well, but honestly, we do not be wanting to hear it. Just because it's like we don't want to hear that somebody, passed away from it. You can say you knew someone with it, and then we got it like, okay, yeah, clearly they, probably passed away or whatever the case may be. That's just like, somebody with cancer or whatever, or just in general, anything. And you tell them, yeah, I knew somebody that, died from this and that third. I'm like,
Yeah, it just like when I hear someone say that, well, I knew someone that passed away from. I always ask this first question: were they taking care of themselves? And then they would say, well, no, not really. Okay, because the whole key to this is taking care of yourself. That's the whole key to this, and and you gotta be mindful of what you do. Yes, I know some drink. They don't do it. Oh, they don't over exhaust themselves by drinking like that or smoking stuff. They do casual drinking. Because they know they got to have more water in their body more than any other type of drinks like that.
mm-hmm. Can you say, can a bone marrow transplant cure it too, or does it just take away some of the pain? Everybody reacts different to it. So it can either be a cure for them or it can just stop the pain. And for some people, it causes more pain. So, like you said earlier, it can be a risk with it. Now, don't let that, scare anybody that's deciding to get any of these, treatments and stuff. If it works for you, it works for you. Do what you feel right in your heart. Don't let us put in your head like, oh, don't do it. We're not saying that. That's your decision. That's your life. You want to do it. That's what you want to do. Everybody's different. Everybody reacts different to it.
Yeah, that is insensitive to say, but that's the first
Yeah.
thing. That's the first thing they say, and the first thing I say right back to them, were they taking care of themselves?
Yeah, but you'll be amazed at the amount of times we hear it though. And like I said, I know a lot of people be meaning well and they don't be meaning it like in that way, or they just not thinking about it, because it might just be, you know, muscle memory for them just to react that quick. But yeah, a lot of us don't like hearing that because it can be very discouraging. So yeah, just be careful if y'all know somebody like that. Just don't say that to them. Just say you knew somebody and then go from there. But at that part, it's like it's insensitive.
Yeah,
But like you said, even with people that do drink or smoke, take edibles, whatever it is you do, a lot of them they're very responsible when it comes to it. They don't overdo it to where they, is putting them in the hospital or anything like that. And a lot of them discuss with they doctor, hematologist, whatever, about it, what it is they do. Same thing with um getting tattoos. I know some people ask me like, would I get tattoos or have I thought about it? Excuse me. Yeah, it probably crossed my mind here and there, but at the same time, I'm not just gonna up and jump and go do that. Now there is a lot of sickle cell warriors that do have tattoos, but you still have to have that discussion with your hematologist, and you got to think about what that could possibly do to your body, just like anything in general. Like whatever you put in your body or whatever you put on your body, you got to think about the risk of like what that's going to do. And even for me, so I don't play around when it comes to people hit me in my chest or whatever, just because I have a support in my chest. For those of you that have seen it, um, and basically what is different types of ports too, just to let y'all know. So I have what they call an apheresis port, and it's like one of the newer ones, and it's slowly becoming more common and known. But it's different types. It's different ways to access them and all that. And I recently learned about them. There being different types of ports. But basically, with a port, the reason why I had to get it was because, and a lot of people don't know this, but a couple of years ago, they discovered that that it was eating away at my bones or whatever. And pretty much I had to get blood exchanges to prevent that, because if I didn't, it was a possible chance I could have been paralyzed from the waist down. Thank God, got the blood exchanges and that didn't happen. So I had to get the port just because I had to get blood exchanges. So you can have a port, to get blood exchanges to make it easier for you when you go to the hospital, to get infusions, or, even just instead of having to stick your arms to get an IV, they can use that. You can get fluids through it, you can get meds through it. It just makes it much easier than having to get stuck multiple times, or, them digging through your skin trying to find a vein, 'cause that just hurt. But yeah, so that's the reason for a port. Now you do have to make sure you're taking care of it, keep it clean. If they don't know how to access it, or you're not comfortable with them accessing it, please open your mouth and say something. Don't just let them do that, because it can lead to infection, which can lead to death or some type of complications that prolongs you being in there, other than a sickle cell crisis. And yeah, it's whatever you comfortable with. Like I said, because there's been times where they was going to attempt to access my port, and they didn't know, or I was looking at the equipment, because you gotta pay attention to what's going on. And I was looking at the equipment they was using, and I know the specific needle they supposed to have. The needle was like real short or whatever. And I spoke up about it and said that's not the right equipment for the type of port I have. And they was like, "Oh yeah, we don't know how to access that." And they asked me what type of port it was, and that's why I good to like know some of this stuff. And sometimes they do give you a card. Whenever you do get your port, they give you a card that tells you what type of port it is and things of that nature. And yeah, I already knew the type of port I had, and I will have, and told them, and it was like, "Yeah, we can't. We're not qualified to really access that." I was like, "Yeah, regular IV is fine." So yeah, just be mindful of that. Keep it clean. I, for some people that may be scared or skeptical about it, once you get it, obviously it's gonna hurt at first, because it's just like having surgery. You're gonna feel the pain, but after it properly heals and all that, you barely notice it's there, because like I'm aware that it's there, but I mean I function and move pretty fine without it, doing anything. So it's like I don't really notice that it's there, to be real with you, but I'm still cautious about what I do, and I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Everybody tuning in, welcome. If this is your first time here, say hello in the chat. We on the Smooth Talk podcast today, discussing, just talking a little bit. Let's talk sickle cell. It's serious. Let's talk. He's sharing some of his information about what he deal with in his life. So we thank everyone for coming in, like Season Love, Winston Stuttering, Charles, what's up? Connie.
What's up, okay?
Sheila Bird, Bertha Harding, Kenneth McCoy, what up, cuz? Martha Little, Ivy Bennett, what's up, sis? What's going on? We thank everyone for tuning in. Your first time here, welcome. Welcome. Hope you come back in the future when we be on. Because without you all will not be no us. We'll just be on here just talking. But he's sharing some information about his own personal life. As a father, or as they call it, like a caretaker. There's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know that we as parents have to deal with on the financial part too, that insurance don't cover.
Yeah. And
see, a lot of y'all think, oh, man, you got insurance. No, insurance don't take care of everything, you know, and a lot of that stuff come out of my pocket. You know, I dare not complain, and I will not complain because I would do that even if my daughters had it, I would do the same thing. See, that's the part a lot of people don't understand. Oh man, you know, y'all got it made, and he, you know, he got the insurance. I said, bro, so let me tell you something. I should bring you some of the receipts then, and that you take care of that.
Right. Like you gotta understand like how that made the parent or the caregiver, but also the person that's dealing with sickle cell, like what they really going through and what that does to their mental state. Because it's like, imagine hearing, a medication that could possibly help you or whatever, or medication that you've been taking, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, lets you do a bunch of calling and stuff, but a medication that you already taken or something that you could take that could help, and they tell you your insurance not covering it.
Yeah.
And then, it ain't no, $4, $20, and nothing like that. We talking about hundreds to possibly thousands of dollars. That's very discouraging, bro. Like that really hurts you, and you just be like, you feel defeated. And like I said, it'll come to a point where sometimes you may have to make a few calls and things of that nature, to get it sorted out so that your insurance can cover it, if it is a medication you already was taking or whatever it is. And then that's still a hassle to go through all that because you got to call, now you got to sit there and wait, then you got to go back and forth, and all this stuff. Like that's doing a lot.
Yeah.
And
$40 here, $60 there,
maybe
$160 here, $200 there,
maybe
400 here, 500 over there. You see, that's the side, you know, I don't even talk about. I talk it over with some close people that I know, but that's the side I don't talk about. Even to the point I say, hey man, I need to borrow about a couple $100, until I get paid or whatever. See, that's the side I'm talking about, man, because I don't get on here and be like I'm just a pity party. I'm trying to get money and stuff like that. I don't do that. I don't do that. Before I be on here begging like that, I go take out a loan or something, if possible. But most people, that's what they do. They go get the begging, and a lot of people that be begging for a whole bunch of money like that, they ain't using for that purpose anyway, for something else. But that's a side that I don't even really share or talk about. I remember one medicine, and but he didn't have to get on that medicine. One medicine would have cost $2,000. Watch this. Not no year, a month.
Yeah.
$2,000 a month. You do the math.
$2,000 a month, boy. I was like, yeah.
You got 12 months.
I was like, yeah, we good up.
Do the math. So if $2,000 a month times 5, how much is that? I show you 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which will make it $10,000 in 5 months. Thank God he didn't have to go that route.
All right. Boy.
Because I wouldn't be sitting here now, I'd be somewhere working.
Yeah, a lot of people, they think that, you deal with any type of medical condition, especially when it comes to suicide, that you just got insurance to cover this and third. It's a lot of people that I know, some close friends of mine that have the same thing I deal with, that don't have insurance for specific things. Even when it comes to like medication that they have to take every day or whatever. Same thing.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine how stressful that is.
So I said, it really is. And I've had to tell them I can't afford the medication, even though it's something I needed to help me. Mm-hmm. The stuff is expensive. And the way this government is going right now. A lot, and I ain't even gonna turn it on over about the government and stuff like that. But I will say this: a lot of y'all that's praising all this stuff, thinking that all this gonna do stuff and it's gonna help us like that. Wait till your loved ones start suffering from insurance being cut, or they start asking you to borrow some money. But then you first thing come out your mind, don't you have insurance? Well, the insurance got cut. See, just like my band I have on right now. My motto is it doesn't matter to you until it affects you. See, you don't. A lot of people don't care about nothing until it affects them. Then they want everybody to care because now it affects them.
Mhm. And a while back, I want to see probably about 2, 3 years ago, maybe. I remember they, announced a cure. It was all over social media. It was all in the news and all this other stuff. They announced a cure, which I feel like that was a slap in the face towards us. And come to find out, the cost of it was like $2 million. What was it, like 2 million or $2 billion, something
Two
like
million.
that? $2 million. Yeah, I'm just like, what was the point of telling us that?
And when I first heard it was Keir Spates Jr. on Steve Harvey Morning Show. He was like, I just keep it because I don't have no $2 million just laying around.
Exactly.
2 million.
I'm like, bro, that's just a slap in the face towards us. That's like, yeah, we got a cure, but you can't get it. Like,
And some of the cures that they have don't even cost that much, but they gonna charge you that.
yeah, yeah, it's a lot when it comes to this stuff. It can be difficult, it can be stressful, but you gotta have a strong mind when it comes to that stuff. 'Cause if you don't, it's gonna be rough for you. But you can get through it though. I'm here to let you know it is possible. We here to let you know that you can do it, you will do it, you gonna do it. You gotta stay strong. You believe in God or whatever it is you believe in, have a strong faith, source, have a great support team. Even if you don't, you got yourself, even though it's gonna be difficult, but even if you feel like you're in this by yourself, you can always hit us up. You know.
Yeah, the mental side of even with the parents, the mental side for me is that I can't let it drive me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't let it overpower me. I can't let it just take me out by all the crazy thoughts that I may have. Because at times the devil will play with your mind. You can say what you want to. You can say what you want to. There is a such thing as spiritual realm, whether you want to believe that or not. It is a such thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is. As well as people say, well, it ain't no such thing as God. Okay, you can't have evil without nothing else. If it ain't no God, then you wouldn't even have no evil.
Mm-hmm. I I have some people that
I'll explain that one day.
I'll be having some people ask me, if I could, like, what I wish I didn't have it as a child versus now. I was like, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm glad I did have it, and I'm glad I do have it. Just because I don't feel like I would be the man I am today. Now, some people might look at that like, I don't know about that. I mean, I probably still could have been the man I am today, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'd be 100% like I am today. I don't feel like I have the strength that I have now. Because you got to think about you going through that as a child all the way up, pretty much just your whole life, you going through that. So it builds, there was some type of character development, you know, it built me up to the person I am today. I got to meet wonderful people through me having this and, taking the chances that I took and all that other stuff. So, yeah, I'm glad that I have it. I wouldn't really change nothing about it, honestly. Now, my adulthood, would I get the cure if I can? Yeah. But, like you said, it's it's always something behind it too. So you still got to be careful with it, even if you do go with the cure. And like I said before, I ain't trying to discourage anybody from doing these treatments and things of that nature. If you do it, you do it. Because everybody's body reacts different. So you just got to be mindful of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And every parent deal with stuff differently too. Just because I deal with it a certain way, the next parent may not be able to deal with it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I may keep it silence about some stuff, the next parent may be loud about some stuff. It just depends on the person and where they are mentally. Because you do have to prepare yourself. You do have to prepare yourself. Whether it's good or bad. You have to prepare yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like anything in life. Nothing on this earth is guaranteed but one thing, that you're gonna leave here. Your marriage is not guaranteed to stick forever. You're not guaranteed that job forever. You're not guaranteed all that money that you may have forever. That house you may have or car you may have. That none of that stuff is guaranteed. Only one thing that's guaranteed, that you're gonna leave this world one day. May not be today or no time soon. But you're gonna leave here one day soon. No, not soon, but you're gonna leave here one day. You've been 100 years old, but you're gonna leave here. That's the only thing in life that is guaranteed.
Yeah.
So we take our precaution and as far as taking care of ourselves, so we can have a normal life. Try to have a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
But as I say to him, a lot of times, like you say to him all the time, you're different. You're not normal.
Yeah.
You're different. Corey, what's up? You're different.
That's why y'all don't. Yeah, I hang out, I go out, I do things and all that stuff. I have fun. I still go out and have fun, but I know my limits. I know, if I do this could be a possible chance of me maybe either going to the hospital or not. Or I just know, like, I just still have to be careful. I mean, everybody got to be careful in general. But I know that if I go do something or go out or whatever, I have to, like, pace myself. I can't overdo it. She said, I appreciate, joining y'all. Getting
Thanks
to
for
go
coming.
to work. Be smooth with it. Be smooth.
Come back.
Come back. But
Take us to work with
you. But even when it comes to sickle cell, it's a lot of us, including myself, we don't even want to do this, but it sometimes does happen where we'll just be like in our own little, space, or not necessarily in our head for real, because it's a lot of us that don't be thinking about nothing, or we just have a lot going on, but we'll like venture off and be by ourselves for a good little minute. And we don't be wanting to do that, but sometimes we have to do that. Now, we don't mind opening up and talking to people about, whatever's going on, because we still do that. But it's like, we do that so that we don't end up crashing out or overexert ourselves and things of that nature. And we just trying to like get everything, collect ourselves pretty much. So that could be either us just not talking a lot, or, we sleep, or just excuse me, or just chilling, or whatever it is, that you do. So like, even for me, I could be in a room full of people, I still vibe out, have fun, smile, and all this other stuff, but it might get to a moment where I just be like, I get quiet and I be to myself, because I just be chilling sometimes. But sometimes that I just be me just chilling, or I just be like getting myself together, just not mentally, but like physically and everything else. Now, it doesn't always necessarily mean like, oh, we're in pain or whatever, because a lot of us will speak up about it. Some of us won't do it, and that's for the simple fact we're not trying to bring the room down or make anybody feel bad, or, whatever, situation may be. Because a lot of us don't like, uh, we don't like people to pity us. We hate that feeling, and we don't like when people view us as less human. Not saying our friends and family do it, yeah, we close to do that, but just in general, we don't like that feeling though, because you got to think about, you know, growing up or teenager or adulthood, and depending on who you was around, and you hearing somebody say you're lazy, or they're viewing you like you can't do anything, like you're not capable of doing something. Like you got to think about what that does to them mentally. Like that hurt them at first. Now, when they reach a point where it's like it don't bother them, then that's a different story. But still, though, ain't nobody trying to like hear that and go through that. And it's like we're not lazy. It's just, bro, we're exhausted. And like I said before, it don't matter how much sleep you get, you still end up being tired. But you get up, still do what you got to do. Because I mean, hey, you on a mission, you got to do it. You know. Not only for yourself, but for your loved ones and everything else. Now, especially if you got kids, you got to do it for them. Well, that's that's kind of like the side that a lot of people don't talk about. Even though I don't have kids, but y'all see me post, my three little cousins that I always post all the time. But even when it comes to them, I love them to death. But show up for them and things of that nature. So it's just like I do everything I do for myself, for my family, for them, but yeah, mainly for myself to make my life better. Also make my family's life better. And and just so I can help out and give back and contribute not only to the world but also to the sickle cell community the best way I can. Because you have people that deal with the same thing I deal with, and they have that battle in their head, like, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough not only for myself, if I'm doing enough for the sickle cell community or whatever it is, they got going on in their head. And yeah, that can take a toll on you mentally too. You got some people that may feel insecure about what they have or the side effects from dealing with sickle cell or certain medications. So like for me, I used to take hydroxyurea, and that can help with sickle cell. But from what I've been hearing, a lot of sickle cell patients do not like taking that. They do not like taking it, and yeah, they just don't like taking it. And some of the side effects, well, the main ones I know is you can lose your hair and your nails can like turn black. So for me, thank God I didn't lose my hair. But my nails at one point they were black. They, got back to a natural color, but at one point they were very dark. And it took a while for me to, not be insecure about that. And everybody that knew me in school, I used to be on it when I was in high school, and it took me a while to, accept that or whatever. I used to always have my hands in my pockets or, cover up, my hands or whatever the case may be, or even when somebody asks me, I wouldn't mind, talking about it, but at the same time, I always used to try to like avoid it and dodge it the best way I can. And yeah, it just took me a while to get over that. And for a lot of people that don't know, so it's something that's called clubbing. And if you don't know what that is, basically it's like behind the nail. So it's like back here. And basically it's like a little bit puffy or whatever. And pretty much it's like the blood is like there. It's not a blood clot per se, but it's just like the blood is just like staying right there and it's not going anywhere. So it makes it look like it's puffy back here. So that's how mine are. And it's been that way since I was a kid. They trying to find things to, I guess, cure it or make it go down or whatever. Um, but yeah, so if you ever look at somebody nails and not nails, but their hands and like behind the nail, it's like a little bit puffy. You know, that's what that is. It's called clubbing. And another thing you can tell about when it comes to suicide is if their eyes are yellow. You know, keep an eye out for it, which means they dehydrated. Court, what's up?
Said you are God's soldiers, brother. It's the fact that you continue to keep pushing throughout your life. Continue to keep God first, and I commend you for not giving up. And I'm proud of you.
I appreciate it. Hey, y'all check out my boy Cortland. Yeah, we're doing some amazing things with the game, and hey, I appreciate it, bro. But hey, I'm proud of you too, man, with the game, the modeling, the acting, and all that other stuff. Hey, keep it up, bro. But yeah, man, I truly appreciate that because even as a sickle cell warrior, that's also a dancer and things of that nature. Um, in the dance community, it is a wonderful community, especially the people I hang around and people I encountered. But there was times where I came across some people that view me, like I wasn't capable of doing anything just because, I got sickle cell or whatever. Me trying to be a dancer, excuse me, that wasn't really rocking with that, which I really don't care what you think, to be honest with you. Feel how you feel. But, and it has shocked them that you know, they say all that, but come to find out I outdo them. And I don't know, it just be funny because, and I always tell people, don't complain about something that's minor, you know, because there's always somebody that's going through way worse things than me and you put together.
Yep, all the time.
And anybody always try to like talk down on me or whatever. Now me, I either ignore it and walk away, or a lot of y'all that truly know me, y'all know I'm quick with responses and I got a smart mouth sometimes. But and I'll be quick to be like, but you don't have any type of illness, but I'm outdoing you though. So made that make sense.
But sometimes when you put that stuff back on them, they don't know how to handle it.
Mm-hmm. But it's just funny though. But like I said, in the dance community, I do love the people that I met, and they're very supportive. Cause I do remember when it was Sickle Cell Awareness Month, they surprised me when they was wearing red and all that to support Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and that meant a lot to me. It did because it was just like, dang, I'm not in this alone. Even in the dance community, I'm not in this alone. They're very supportive. They make sure I'm good. And it was very refreshing to know that not just only in the sickle cell community, but in the dance community, in the gaming community, and all that stuff, there's more people like me, but also, they're very supportive. Because even when, I would have performances or, we have a session or practicing or whatever, they would still get on my neck and be like, hey, you need to go sit down somewhere. They'd be like, you got your water? I'm like, yeah. And if I wasn't, if I didn't have my water or trying to rest, and they just get on me for real. They'd be like, hey, go sit your butt down. I'm like, all right. But you need people like that in your circle because they just want to make sure you good, but also they want you to be the best that you can be, honestly. And I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. Everyone tuning in, welcome. If your first time here, welcome. We appreciate each and every one of you all for coming in. Corey, what's happening, man? Miss you at work. I know you're doing a great thing driving that truck. Got Reverend James Jr. on here. Thank you for coming through, man. We appreciate all of y'all for coming through. And before I forget, our friends that we partnered with, a couple of my classmates, and they're good friends, Brothers for Life. They're doing a GoFundMe. They're raising money for the community. They are giving back. I'm not playing with. I'm not joking. They are really giving back inside the community. So I just want to share this because they are doing some stuff, and I just want to share this with you all about what they're doing and everything. They are doing it. That's them right there. Mm-hmm. They're trying to empower West Charlotte youth with Brothers for Life, and they got be the difference to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. And we appreciate the Brothers for Life for having us. Mm-hmm. Come out there and shoot an episode, and also get to interview y'all. And just for welcoming us there and having us there, we appreciate your hospitality. We appreciate networking with you guys.
Yeah.
And, having the conversation that we had on and off camera. So yeah, it was wonderful. Looking for looking for a lot more when it comes to that. When it comes to collaborating with you guys, expecting a lot more, and we got a lot cooking up.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the chat while we still on right now, and at the same time, I'm gonna put it on my Facebook page too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing anything, if you're not doing anything, that's a great foundation to start sowing seed into. You want to sow some seeds into some great opportunity to help kids. They are one of them. They are one of them. Matter of fact, I got another one coming up. Leon Gate. I just talked to him a couple of days ago. Gonna have him to come on. And we're gonna talk about a Holler Center. I'll probably do it down there. Might do that one down there at the place so y'all can see the center at the same time. And I didn't want to forget that. That's why I brought it back up. So I didn't want to forget that.
Yeah. But oh yeah, I'm gonna jump back to the Sickle Cell stuff. But everybody that's voting for the dance icon thing that I'm participating in, continue to keep voting. We have 3 days, four or 3 days left. So y'all continue to vote. I appreciate everything. It does mean a lot for us. This is an opportunity. And if you're gonna be in the Charlotte area in April, because on April 11th, I will be participating in the Red Bull dance event, all style dance event. Your boy will be battling, and look, he might pop out. I don't know.
Y'all, don't you look for me to pop out there.
But yeah,
I still got it now. Don't get it twisted.
You still got it. But yeah, April 11th at 7 p.m. I'll post, the info for all that. And I do got to repost. Well, I posted it yesterday, but I'm gonna post it again. The link to the to go vote. So I appreciate y'all for that. But yeah, when it comes to the Sickle Cell stuff, it's a lot to it, bro. I'm gonna just say that it's a lot to it. But you got a strong mind. You got to be, you got to put in the effort. You got to put in the work. Even when you don't feel like it, mind you, yeah, rest, do the things you need to do, because sometimes you do need that mental break. You do need that break. And a lot of us, we sometimes will take that break just because it's needed for us. Because like I said, we're not trying to crash out. And I know that word, some people are like, well, you going to snap on people and go crazy? No, it's not necessarily like we're going off on people, even though that could possibly happen. But that's not what we mean by crashing out. It's just to the point where we get overwhelmed that we just lose control of ourselves and we just moving kind of crazy, not necessarily going off on people. We just doing things that we normally wouldn't do. So we trying to make sure that, like I said, when we be out to ourselves or whatever, we still appreciate the people that check up on us and all that. And, we still talk to people, but we still try to get ourselves together, not only mentally, but physically and emotionally, because everybody reacts completely different. Some of us react the same, and at the end of the day, you don't know what they're thinking or what they're going through unless they tell you. But that's why sometimes we be like, stand to ourselves a little bit. But like, even for me, yeah, I socialize with people. And if I'm hurting or if it's bad or whatever, I tell people. Now, back then, I wouldn't want to tell people just because, like I said before, it's hard to get out that mindset of you not trying to bring down the room or, have people feel bad or worry, but at the same time, you're making them worry more when you don't tell them. And, yeah, it takes a while to get that mindset, especially if if you was around people that, either didn't believe you or saying a bunch of negative things to you, or whatever the situation may be. So it's hard to adjust to that, especially when you get around people that truly care. So when you do, it's refreshing, but it does take time. So if you one of those friends or family or whatever, that knows somebody with sickle cell, just bear with them, just work with them, let them know that you're still there for them at the end of the day, despite whatever it is they got going on. But
Thank you everyone for tuning in. It just came in your first time here, say hello. See, Rosetta just popped in. Rosetta David, Sandra Johnson just popped in. We appreciate you all coming on. You know, going back and forth to the doctor, it can be tiresome, but at the same time, it's informative. It's informative, a lot of information. We pick up and listen to a lot of stuff. We get a chance to hear a lot of stuff, and we get a chance to view a lot of different methods out there, or a lot of new medicine that's coming in, or they trying, and we get to see different people that deal with sickle cell on another level than what he may deal with it. We get a chance. We just get a chance to view a lot of stuff. It's very informative. It's very, very. Get a chance to meet kids with cancer. Not only when we go to the doctor, not only just meet people that have sickle cell, but kids. I'm talking about like 4, 5 years old dealing with brain cancer. We see some kids that may have both. They may have sickle cell, but the child is autistic at the same time. I don't know that much about autism, but I'm gonna start looking into it because that's another thing. Just as well as cancer and any other disease out there. But just to see a child dealing with cancer, cancer or sickle cell, and the child may have sickle cell and dealing with, he's an autistic child, that can be very stressful on the parents, and sitting there talking to the parents sometime, and you be like, "Are you okay?" And the time I'm talking to the lady, I said, "You okay?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "I have my days." She said, "But I'm fine. As long as my child, get my child to help, I'm fine." See, and that's how we are as parents. As long as we get the help for the child, we are fine. But once you don't want to do that kind of stuff and don't want to try to get the help, then you're gonna see a different side of the parents. But just dealing with it. Welcome, Sharon, for coming in, tuning in with us today. But we go through this, and we are praying at the same time. Lord, be over them, watch them, take care of them at the same time. And I don't ask everybody for prayer. I ask certain people because everybody don't pray for you, as they say. They pray for your downfall, something to happen to you. It's a lot of people like that in this world. Trust me, it is.
Oh, yeah. But shoot, like you said, going to, the hospital, going to doctor's visits and all that stuff. Met some beautiful people. Kids, adults, teenagers, all that, and you hear their stories as well. It just pushes me and inspires me more, to continue to do this and do more of what I'm doing. So that's another reason as to why I do it too. Because, like we say all the time, you never know who's watching. You never know.
No, you never know who's watching.
You don't know who you could be helping. You don't know whose lives you could be changing and all that. So I am thankful that I am able to do this, that I do have the opportunity to do this, especially, I get to do it with my dad because you don't see a lot of fathers and sons do this. So that is refreshing. But yeah, it's a lot when it comes to this stuff. It is a lot that we can discuss. We might have another part to, well, I ain't gonna say we will have more parts to this, but we appreciate y'all coming through though, for real. It means a lot. Like I said, I'm gonna post a link again for y'all to vote, things of that nature. I do have to post my
Hey, Shay Brian.
What's up, Shay Brian? I do have to post my link tree though, so that y'all could, go purchase the book. If you feel like getting merch, get that too.
If you want to jump on for a few minutes, just let me know. I've seen the link.
Yeah.
That's another warrior right there, y'all.
Yeah. That's another sickle cell warrior.
Another sickle cell warrior.
Her and Free Smith, they share their stories. This is about about 2 years ago.
No, about a year. Last year.
Last year. So time be flying, boy. Yeah, it was like last year. They shared their stories and all that. We appreciate, having them come on. We gotta get y'all back on here again And yeah, it's a lot. Like I said, it's a lot. We're gonna have more parts to this. Trying to cover at least a good majority of the stuff that I can think of right now. Um, but it's so much. Like it is so much that we can discuss.
And we would like to have, because honestly, it's a lot of people that dealing with sickle cell. They don't want to talk about it, or even say, well, I don't have that. But you in constant pain.
Mhm. She said, I'm in the ER right now, but I'm here in the comments if you have any questions or anything. Well, yeah,
Y'all keep reading your prayers out there.
definitely praying
That's
for
something they deal with on a basis. So y'all keep her in your prayer. She's a warrior now.
her.
You know, I missed out on the last line that you had. I came in on the tail end that you had, and we would like to get with you when you get better and feel better and everything. Get with you and some of the guests that you had on your live. Try to make it one big happy family. I'm gonna sit back and listen, but I would love all of us to get together and have one big sickle cell warrior union on here.
It's a good thing for your prayers.
Yeah.
No problem. Anytime. Anytime.
Yeah. So yeah, we would like to get with you and get everybody on and try to get us all together and just and share with the people, share with the world of that. Yeah. We're gonna set that up. Set that up. Because there's a lot of people that don't want to talk about it. There's a lot of parents that their child has it, but they don't want to talk about it or even really want to deal with it.
Mhm.
But they need to and educate them. So that's why we decided to talk about it more and probably talk about it more. I mean, we're gonna talk about other stuff, but we're gonna inject this in too at the same time because it is needed. Not only here on social media platform like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, but also um, on YouTube because it's a lot out here dealing with this.
Don't want to acknowledge it until it hits hard. Yeah.
Yeah, so it hits hard.
That's what a lot of people do.
Like I shared the story. I shared the story. A friend of mine worked at a nursing home, and they had a sickle cell patient to come to the nursing home. And by her knowing me, and with my son having sickle cell, because the nursing home didn't have no idea about it. So she called me, and the first thing I asked him, uh, "Did you give him any fluids, any water? I mean, any water? 'Cause they don't do like fluids and stuff like that. You give him any water? Yeah, gave him some water. I said, is he still in a painful state? Balled? She said, yeah, he's balled up. I said, you need to get him to the hospital because he needs some fluids now.
Mhm.
But see the nursing home didn't even know anything, and I said, maybe y'all need to start learning about this stuff yourself.
Yeah. It's a lot to it when it comes to the sickle cell. Like I said, it can be some positive, it can be some negatives. You gotta be strong minded when it comes to this. I'm bringing the village community support group back so that the kids have a place to start learning and speaking about it. Yeah, that's something I was trying to do. Is like obviously you gotta get permission from the parents and all that other stuff, but have it to where we have the kids come on here. So we're gonna try to do it in different sections, and it was gonna have one big one, but it was gonna be
That's gonna be wild. Yeah,
we're gonna have the kids, kids slash teenagers, then have the young adults, and then people older than me, and it was gonna have just everybody. But that's gonna be a lot. But it's gonna be an amazing thing to see. But yeah, stuff like this is needed. That's why we do it. I'm glad that we are doing it. So we can have a voice for those that may not know how to speak up or trying to find a way to speak up, or, things like that. I wish I could just go everywhere, educate those who are ignorant about suicide. Me too.
Yeah.
So far, the only way we know how to really do it for real is on through social media, doing it this way and all that. And as far as like traveling and going out, we can do it that way, make it happen. But most definitely trying to do that. Though. She said, "Oh, okay, that's a good idea." Yeah, we just gotta figure out, work it out, and have a few conversations with some people, and try to get that together. It's a lot that I have in mind when it comes to this stuff or the stuff I'm trying to do. And I know it's possible. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna need some work on it, but most definitely you can get it done though. But yeah, we appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate y'all, letting me talk about sickle cell and tell a bit about my life and all that. Like I said, we're gonna have multiple parts when it comes to this, talking more about sickle cell and things of that nature. We gonna have some more people come up here. You're gonna get more of his perspective and all that. But what you got coming up?
Yeah. What we're doing is helpful for the community. We just need the support to help create change. Always.
Yeah.
Make it aware for everybody to let them know that you're not alone out here with this, including you parents. You're not alone, including you parents that may have the trait. You don't have any kids, but you may have the trait. I would advise you to go get checked. Especially if you're young, go get checked. Open your face. Go get checked. I would advise all parents to go get checked. If you don't have any kids, go get checked. If you got kids, but they don't have that, still get checked for the trait. See if you have the trait. And if you're married, see if your husband or your wife has the trait too. Because you really don't know.
It's good to know. You rather know than not. You feel me? So it's good to be educated on that stuff and to be aware of it.
Yeah.
Just in case you do decide to have children or whatever, so that way you don't be thrown off and all this stuff, and you're very much aware of what's going on. You're educated on it. Even if you don't have kids or decide to have kids, even if it's just somebody family, friend, or just somebody random, that's dealing with sickle cell and all that. You never know. You could be, you got some information that could possibly help them.
Exactly.
And then that also, open their eyes to see that, okay, it's people out here that genuinely care, that understands or is trying to understand what it is I'm going through. And that gives them hope. So I know a lot of people ain't never looked at it from that perspective, but yeah, you have to look at it from that perspective too. When you're educated on anything, just about anything, you don't know what that does to somebody's mental state to where like it helps and benefits them and it makes them feel good because they're like, oh wow, this person, it's like they care. Okay. And it gives them hope. It's refreshing to let somebody know that, okay, you care, you're educated on it, you're trying to do something about it, even if it's just little steps, hey, a step is a step. So progress. We slowly moving with it, bro.
Yep. So we appreciate each and every one of you all. Me, what's gonna be coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and push forward in April. We're gonna do that one Sunday. Entrepreneurs, if you got a business, you want to shout it out. If you're a preacher, pastor, you got some events coming up. We're gonna let y'all come on and shop whatever you got going on in life. You can come on and talk about what you got going on. If you got any speaking engagement, you got to go. You can come talk about that. Got something going on at your church, you can talk about that. But entrepreneurs, y'all come on out. Y'all come out and let's do this thing. Shout your business out. We ain't charging y'all nothing. But if you want to put even just $1 on the cash app, that's fine with us. If you don't, that's still fine with us. We're just trying to give back and let people see your business and what you're doing. We're not sitting here talking about, well, it's going to cost you $100 or nothing like that. It can just cost you $1. That's what you feel like putting on the cash app. But we're not charging. Let me make that clear. We're not charging you anything. But if you want to put some on the cash app, that's fine. But we're not charging anything. We just want to help you establish and push your business on out there to an audience that you may not even have. Because we all don't have the same mutual friends. But we all do have social media, just about all of us. And we would like for you all to come out and share what you are doing and be there. And
she said baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. And just be there and just share your business. She said, also the magazine coming out at the end of March. Well, I'm glad I'm waiting.
All right.
Bring that magazine on out. We definitely want you to come on and share that with us. You writing a book. Let me put that out there too. If you got a book that's coming out, come share your book.
Yeah, whatever it is you're doing, the way you do, you're a social media influencer, you do YouTube, you do gaming, all that stuff.
All this stuff. Gaming, yeah, all this stuff.
All of that. It's as long as it's something positive, it ain't nothing crazy.
Yeah, it ain't got we talk about pornography. We trying to push that out there like that. But that part 2 is coming up too. But yeah, y'all come on with that, with your book. If you got a book, if you got a cooking class going on, whatever your business is, y'all come on and share that with the people. Because a lot of y'all may be on social media, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Y'all might be on it, but a lot of y'all is not on YouTube. See, we're on YouTube. You never know who it can reach.
So we advise everybody to come through.
Yeah, come on through. Come on, sit down on it. And share your business though.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. Trying to help out with that. Come on and share your business. Okay, dropping soon too. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Drop all of it.
As far as like what I got going on, y'all know I'm kind of holding off with the merch and everything else.
Said the book come out in April.
But yeah, y'all know I've been holding off with the merch and all that other stuff. Still dropping dance videos and all that. I'm gonna get back in the rotation of everything else I've been doing before I kind of held off on it just because of this whole tier dance event thing that's going on with the voting, and also the battle that's coming up in April. So that's the only reason why I've been holding off on it. Yeah, I'm still gonna be dropping some heat for y'all, whether it be dance videos or photos. I still have the website up for my merch and all that. So if you feel like buying it, that's your choice. I have to post the link tree and all that. And it has my book on there, it has my merch, it has all my other social medias and all that. You want to check it out.
Yep. So I got to post mine too because I do have a shopping mall on there.
He has one too.
On my link tree. You have a shopping mall. Shopify. So
but yeah, and I am in a transition of probably switching over to Shopify just because, like I said, I'm trying to come up with the best quality when it comes out to this merch and all that. I'm trying to work.
And I'm shopping, so
yeah.
I got a mall. It's a mall and you shop. Shopping. I'm gonna put everything. I'm putting all the stuff. I got it on my link tree. I got to get everything so I can start putting my link up so you can click on. You can go shop on that mall, or you can become a partner.
Yeah. But yeah.
And it won't cost you nothing to be a partner in the beginning. It won't cost you nothing. I'm not saying it's not gonna cost you go to the next level. It will cost you, but just be an affiliate. It won't cost you nothing. But you have a mall, you can go shop for clothes, beauty products, stuff for the cars, health products, all this kind of stuff, But I'm gonna put it up because I've been working on. I've been working because I work at the dealership, so things has picked up. So I hadn't really been messing with it, but I'm finna get back to messing with it. I'm just gonna take the time out and get it right. Review the video again so I can get everything right up in this big old head of mine and get it going and get it right because there's other outlets. There's other outlets, and my great friend Pastor Steve. Oh, Pastor Steve, appreciate you all. He thank you all for helping him reach the goal for the $10,000 for the air conditioning units for his community center. He thanked you all. He didn't tell me to tell y'all that, but I'm sure when I talk to him, he gonna ask me to say that to y'all and let y'all know he appreciate each and every one of y'all that gave. It went to a good cause, and it go in his pocket. It's for his building, for the community center. The City Reach Community Center. You can rent it out if you're down in our area down here. Rent it out for parties or whatever. But it's help to give back, to even help, help with the church and stuff. So everybody, because I'm planning on having another men's event too. I'm trying to put that in the making too, but I'm gonna take care of this other stuff first. So Shoplink, y'all keep an eye for it. I will be dropping a link soon on my Facebook page. And if you're not following me on Facebook, please go follow us on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. Go follow us on these social media so you keep up with all the latest news that we got going on.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, as far as the Shopify and all that stuff, the clothing, I probably got to get over some people as far as like some new designs because I have my own. I can draw them out, but I know a couple people I can talk to that can like help me achieve that. So, like I said, I'm trying to come out with the best quality when it comes to clothing and all that, for y'all. So that's the only reason why I ain't been like saying much about my old website. Like I said, it's still up if you want to check that out. I'm gonna still post the link for the dance icon thing so y'all can vote. We have, I want to say 3 days left. I want to say.
Yeah, y'all go do that.
So y'all be sure to vote. Like I said, I appreciate it very much. Yeah, it's just a lot that I'm working on behind the scenes. When I do go to this Red Bull event, it might be some content dropping left and right. I might, well, depending on if I can. I may or may not go live, but for sure I'm gonna try to get a bunch of videos as much as I can. I might delete some videos out this phone just because my storage about full is just all the videos I'll be taking and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do that for y'all. Post it on here so y'all can watch and be on that journey with me. Even if it's not live, y'all can like get the highlights of it. What else? So that event is on April 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you're here in Charlotte, so that's gonna be on Friday. I may or may not do a podcast episode that Sunday because I might be resting to be real with you, especially with all the dancing I'm gonna be doing around that time. So I'm just going ahead and let y'all know that now. If I don't do an episode that Sunday, it's because your boy
he be chilling. So
yeah, I'll be resting for them 2 days. If he's doing one, you might see me pop in and out. If not, y'all know the deal with that. But yeah, so as far as what I got coming up, that's pretty much it when it comes to that. Soon, slowly moving into like the gaming. Like I'm a gamer, but as far as like making content out of it, I'm slowly moving into that. So it's gonna be I might have that under my belt. So y'all might see some gaming content on here every now and then. Cause y'all know me, I pretty much have my hand in everything. I'm multi-talented, so I'll be doing everything from dancing to modeling, photo shoots, videography, gaming, all that stuff, even that anime. So who knows? You never know. Shoot, one day y'all might come on here, y'all might see me in the anime or in a game one day. For sure, it's gonna be on TV for sure one day. Most definitely, I'm gonna go ahead and claim that now. But one day y'all will see me on TV, and then hopefully after that, it's gaming, the anime, and all that other stuff. But we appreciate y'all.
Keep talking for a minute. Why? Because I'm looking for something.
Oh, well, yeah, he's looking for something right now. Oh, let me get a list of this. But yeah, anybody that has sickle cell, share this with them. Share this live. If they're comfortable with talking, let them know to come talk to me or talk to my dad, or you can talk for them. If they don't have info and all that, and they say they want to be a part of it. Yeah, share this with them. Get in contact with us, and like I said, this stuff is needed, so we try to do the best that we can. We try to help make a change because the small steps matter. It's slow in progress what we're doing, but it's slowly becoming bigger and bigger. We're not this big, huge, known podcast. And who knows? Yeah. One day we may be. Yeah. Who knows? But as long as we, making a change and it's a small change, it still matters. It doesn't have to be this huge, big one. And to any kids out there that's dealing with sickle cell, just know you're not in this alone. You got this. We here for you. You got people that care and love you. And it's gonna be rough, but you got it, bro. You got it.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it. You just got to have faith and stay strong. And just keep fighting. It's gonna hurt. I know. Trust me, it's gonna hurt, but you got it. And don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do anything. And that you not gonna make it, because you will. You're gonna make it, and you can do anything in this world if you put your mind to it. Trust me, you can. Because
Brown said, make sure you get as much footage as possible.
Shoot, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna have, I'm gonna try to get, my dad or my friends, whoever, record, and they do it from my phone, or do it from their phone or camera and send me the footage. I'm gonna try to get as much as possible. So, like I said, I'm gonna have to delete a bunch of stuff out of my phone, and I'm gonna just try to get somebody to get as much footage as possible. I'm gonna try to take a bunch of pictures, and y'all gonna really see me get active for real. Like, I know I be dancing, but y'all gonna really see me like get active in the dancing for real. So, around the people that I be with.
Yeah, that's the mall right there. I was logged in it earlier because I'm getting ready to get back into that, start messing with that more and more and more and more. And y'all be on the lookout because I will be dropping a link soon. Shoply. Y'all, I'm ready to drink. So I got to drink stuff. Shop. So y'all be on the lookout for that because I will be dropping a link soon. I'm not sitting here trying to beg you to do stuff. I'm just saying, you become a partner if you want to, because I will be playing. I'm gonna play the video when I start talking about it more. I'll be playing the video too, so y'all can check it out too at the same time.
Yeah. And at this event, y'all gonna see a couple of familiar faces. My boy Extra, also my mentor, or one of my mentors. He gonna be there, and he's actually one of the judges there. So that's gonna be funny and interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of familiar faces there. Some y'all have seen, some people y'all might not know, but it's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna try to really show out for real. But hey, you might see him pop up. You might.
I'm here to be faking it. Like I got it going on up in there. When you do stuff, y'all don't want none of this. That's how I'm gonna back out of it real quick. Y'all don't want none of that. That's how I'm gonna back out of it.
But we appreciate y'all coming through for real. This means a lot. I appreciate y'all letting me, talk about sickle cell and vent to y'all and give my life story.
Yep.
We truly appreciate that. Y'all get, my perspective, and also, the caregiver, but also the parent perspective on it. But we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Stay focused, stay positive, smile. And as always, be smooth with it.
Be on the lookout, y'all.
Yeah.